Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'll be talking about their movies, of course, or anything that's related to Disney. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, of course I'll be talking about it, whether it's the theme parks, merchandising, I don't know, whatever. Let's just get to the point here because it was another ridiculous stab I was speaking about, of course. So anyway, in regards of this podcast channel thing, whatever you call it, with these individuals would talk about culture, of course, in relations to the Christian path of living. Okay, I see where this is going to go, of course. And I'll be discussing the film Wish again with these religious people again because of Disney's doing something bad because vague reasons, of course. I mean, obviously, it's nonsensical. It's like now that the film Witch became a lot of people's punching bags. I guess a favorite punching bag as of late. I guess. Anyway, even though the film was nowhere near that bad, like at all. Anyway, and it's just here we go. This is a sort of little review they have done. At least one of them anyway. One of the people who does this thing here with the podcast. So here we go. I guess whatever.
Once upon a time stood Rosas, a most magical kingdom, founded by a king with the power to grant wishes.
In the new animated Disney movie Wish, now in theaters, we're ushered into the kingdom of Rosas. It's a magical place where wishes come true. Well, sometimes.
Never mind the fact that there was a very specific reason for that to occur in this movie. I mean, very selective wishes will come true, be granted by the king. But like I said, there's a specific reason for that, which I'm not going to go into because I don't want to spoil anything. But anyway, go on.
Rosas is ruled by King Magnifico. This seemingly kind ruler serves his people by storing their wishes.
It kind of goes into spoiler territory, but he's doing this intentionally to kind of mislead the premise of the movie, which a lot of these Christians tend to do, which obviously is very manipulative, of course.
Now, a young woman named Asha hopes to become the king's new assistant. During
And you missed the fact that she was supposed to be an apprentice for him, and he's supposed to be like a teacher of some kind. You missed that out of this summary of the story.
her interview, she boldly asks if Magnifico could choose her 100-year-old grandfather's wish next. It's an innocent wish.
Again, you get kind of in the spoiler territory here, but he's again misrepresenting the story because he's trying to paint the picture that Disney's doing something bad. What do I mean? You will see in a minute. You will see in a minute.
People give their wishes to me, and I grant the wishes I am sure are good for Rosas.
Some of these will never be granted.
Not some, most.
They deserve more than.
I decide what everyone deserves.
If that plot sounds pretty complicated, it is.
What are you talking about? What does that even mean? What? Like I was saying, folks, a moment ago, he's intentionally misrepresenting the premise of the film in order to just talk trash about Disney. Of course you would. Just because of the new wave of Disney films. It's not like how back in the old days, aka nostalgia.
Asha's a brave character, no doubt about it.
Okay. Why do you have to point that out? She's a brave character. That's been a thing for the princess characters for quite a while. Okay, that seems like a redundant detail. Ah, Christ. Not that I said that. Not what I just said is a redundant detail. Oh, now that's a redundant detail. Damn it. Now that's also a redundant detail. Okay, anyway. Point being, yes, that's been a trademark for these movies for quite a while. So what? Why do you bring it up now? Again, it gets a little spoiler here, which of course I'm not included in this video. But again, he's just trying to misrepresent the film to, of course, like I just said for the third time in this video, to talk trash. That's it.
But there's a big focus on magic here.
Yeah. A lot of these princess movies, if not the vast majority of them, do that. They all do that. What are you talking about?
On the other side of things, the movie also has a deeply humanist streak as it seeks to
Oh, I see what it is. You don't like the fact that these characters will be humanized. You don't like the fact that they'll be treated equal. That's what bothers you? What? A lot of you Christians seem to have an issue with equal rights and whatnot. And another thing, magic isn't real. There's no such thing as magic. You realize that, right? A lot of you Christians seem to believe that, witchcraft, zombies, vampires, witches, and whatnot. Well, if no one believes in that, look it up yourself. They believe in this kind of a thing. They believe this kind of thing to be actually true, when it clearly isn't. But alright, whatever. Just proceed. Let's get this over with.
On the other side of things, the movie also has a deeply humanist streak as it seeks to deny the existence of God. A character with ambiguous gender shows up here as well.
Okay, what? To watch this movie is to question the existence of God. That's not what's going on. And somebody with an ambiguous gender? What are you talking about? What movie did you see? When did any of this ever occurred? What are you talking about?
So we're giving Wish a 3 out of 5 for family friendliness. You can read the full review at pluggedin.com/radio. And be sure to check out the Plugged In Show wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Adam Holtz for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
Okay, that was it, folks. And it was a god-awful, terrible review. How exactly is the movie trying to push you away from your Christian faith? How is he doing that? How? I'm pretty sure it's supposed to tie into the whole magic bit that was mentioned, and for the trans thing or ambiguous gender. And what trans character? How is that sexual? In the review, the text review that the person mentioned, apparently being trans is sexual somehow. What? But that's a lie. But said trans character mentioned the physique of the king and whatnot, and that never happened. That never happened. And said trans character gave a smooch to the statue earlier in the movie, I guess. What? Okay, it's either A, I have amnesia, and same thing with Alfred because he wants to move with me, or you're making that up. I'm gonna go with B because you're making that up. I mean, yes, there was a statue of the character earlier on in the film. The king does have a statue, and yes, the queen does mention that his physical physique, and he actually gave himself a compliment too by saying he's handsome. And yes, somebody did give the statue a kiss. Yeah, that did happen, but it was not the character that he was referring to. It was not the character. There's no trans character. No trans character did that, like at all. And again, being trans, that in itself is not sexual. What are you talking about? And I find it rather bizarre that you would want to find out if said individual would have a sausage or a pancake in between their legs, if not both. Okay. And you want to know if they have an Adam's apple as well, just because they're trans? That's weird. Why do you care if they have these things? That's creepy. That's creepy that you want to find out. This is just bizarre. There's no trans character in the movie. There is. I mean, again, not that I would care if there was. I'm just saying that's not there. And among this negative stuff that in the visual was that some of the humor is deemed too cruel, like the thing with balls. You know the fact that they didn't balls because that was too sexual, and just because someone said balls as if it was referring to the private part. What? And then the fact that when the chickens shook their butts or asses, if you want to put it that way, you find that rude. But how uptight do you have to be? And then there was a joke in the beginning of the film where somebody was making some cookies that looks like the king, and somebody sneezed on it, and somebody else ate the cookie anyway, despite the other character sneezed on it. I mean, yes, it was gross, yes, but that's the joke. That was the joke. It was supposed to be gross. But that happened early on. It didn't really have anything in the grand scheme of things. It didn't have nothing to do with the story, really. Not really. It was just there to be gross. It was a small little scene anyway. Like, it wasn't really relevant to anything. So what? You're really uptight. You're really uptight here. Oh my god. But yeah, just the fact that whole free will was mentioned here, of course, in this text review that this person made. This text review does not like the person who made this video, and okay, I should say the podcast and the text review didn't like the fact that the characters can do whatever they want and without asking God. So, in other words, okay, Jesus, should I do this? Okay, Jesus, should I do that? And do like a little prayer. So they should do like a little prayer before they do a said action. So ask Jesus for permission. So ask God and or the parents for permission. The fact that never happened in the movie, like at all. Which that never happened. That bothers you? What? So in the text review version of this podcast, I'm not going to short it here because it does go into spoiler territory, and I don't want to short it really. But the complaint, I can tell you what the complaint is that it got violent. I mean, it's no violent than what happened when, let's say, what happened with Brave with Merida, and I think the scene of Frozen, the first Frozen film, where Elsa almost got her head decapitated was worse. And the fact that she almost killed somebody was worse than what happened in the conclusion of this movie. What the person is trying to say is that their negative complaint is that just the fact they got violent. That's it. Just the mere fact that something aggressive happened to another character. Somehow that's too much. Again, you are being really uptight here. Like, really uptight. Just the fact that you had the said character had to get aggressive with another character. Again, I'm not going to say what happened specifically because I don't want to spoil it. But nonetheless, either way, it's just the fact that someone got aggressive. That's it. Just the fact that someone got aggressive to some other character who also got aggressive. So you mean to tell me that if you're in a situation where you have to basically solve the situation, the problem with the violence, so sometimes you have no choice. Sometimes you have no choice in doing so. So what you just section here is that the characters should be passive about this kind of thing. So you tell me the characters in this movie should be very passive in a very, very violent situation. Okay, it wasn't that violent, but still, something aggressive happened. Just the fact that it got nearly violent or the potentially violent, it bothers you. Just the mere fact that it could happen to get violent. Just the fact it happened. Just a tad aggressiveness. I don't get this. This seems rather bizarre just to nitpick everything. Oh boy. I mean, yes, of course. This person is acting as if that there's some heinous crime and whatnot. It's just that happens in here. And yes, of course, this is not the only thing really that this person complains about. This person also mentions spiritual elements, of course. Again, it gets kind of going into spoiler territory. I will just give you like a cliff note version of what he said in the text review. Yes, magic is a problem with this person. Whoever wrote the text version of the review, didn't like the fact there was a magic being used in this film. I mean, yes, there's also forbidden magic. Yes, there's a forbidden magic that's in the library where the king will go to. I guess you would say his study. The king will go into his study where there are these various books. And yes, it does mention that there's good magic and there's bad magic. In where you say the forbidden magic. The forbidden magic, like I would say, is in this book. It's in the library. And yeah, I'm getting some serious vibes of Beauty and the Beast in that regard, but not that I'm complaining though. Anyway, this right here just brings in the concern when it comes to the spiritual elements in this movie, because the idea is that they don't like the fact that the characters could use good magic against bad magic. They don't like that. Whoever wrote this review, the text. So okay, yeah, it's the fact that the main character could use magic against evil magic as a way to have a slim chance against the bad people, whoever that may be. And I mean, okay, if you want to be more specific here, it's just the fact that magic is used. Just the fact that magic is used here, regardless if it's good or bad. Just the fact that this musical focuses on magic in this kind of way or any kind of way somehow bothers you. I don't get it. Another major complaint that the text version of this review does mention is the fact that outer space is mentioned. I mean, yes, in a film, the outer space is mentioned, but that's only because of the fact that we're all made of stars, which, yes, that was actually turned into a song, by the way. That is referring to the fact that all the humans have some iron in them, and the sun has iron in it. So it's like saying we're part of the sun, which isn't really that much of a stretch, really, when you think about it. And the stars and all that, it's like we're all part of that, which, yes, you can say that to some extent. We are all part of that. We are all stars to some extent. But the person who wrote the text version of this review completely ignored the context. It was supposed to be an inspirational song where no matter what you're struggling, we can get together and team up. We're all one. Nature, the universe, the galaxy, all living things are in one. We're all one. We all can team up against the evil for the greater good. And there's more to it than that, but that's like the rough idea. Again, I don't want to get too spoily here, really, like at all. But basically, this individual who wrote the text version of the review that was mentioned in the podcast version I just got to showing you is that studying outer space. Yes, studying outer space is viewed as sin. You're not allowed to study the like Jupiter, Mars, so on and so forth, Pluto. Studying the stars and such, studying outer space is somehow viewed as a sin. That somehow is against God. Oh boy, just wow, okay. As far as I'm concerned, this individual is just making stuff up just to talk trash about Disney. And that's it. Whoever wrote the text version of the review and the individual who made the podcast version of the review, they're just slamming this movie just because Disney made it. That's it. They mention all these kinds of elements in the story as a way to quote unquote critique it somehow, but he's just bashing it. This film is nowhere near as bad as a lot of these people are claiming to be, which, like I mentioned before, this movie is pretty much turned to shreds in reviews, but it's actually not too shabby, really. I quite enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. I actually don't mind buying it on Blu ray, actually. Anyway, thanks for watching, and take care. See you.